Hey, truth seekers, AuntieRee here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here for another episode of Spill and Heal with AuntieRee. This is episode 4. So, before we get started, I want you to grab your journal and pen, grab your water bottle or your cup. AuntieRee, I love sipping on my warm tea in the evening. So, I got my cup. Not going to keep you guys long this evening. July, as you know, many of you know if you're following me, is National Minority Mental Health Month. So we've been talking about, of course, mental health, which is a regular part of our community. But just special emphasis this month, we've also been doing a 21-day self-love challenge, which has been amazing. I will also put information on that in the comments when I upload this to YouTube. We are on day 13 and it's a 21-day self-love challenge. So it's just little tasks that we've been doing daily just to focus and practice on our self-love. Self-love is not a one-time event. I say that all the time. It's a lifestyle. And so that's what I created this community for. So this community here on YouTube and just any of my socials, I wanted to feel like a safe space that you can comment or say anything there because community is important and we need that. And so my business, Team Love LLC, is basically more than just a business. It's a movement for self-love and mental health awareness. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. So if you got your journals and your pens, so if I had to give this episode a title, I would call it PTSD Isn't Just Military, but It's Trauma in Everyday Lives. A lot of times we hear the word PTSD and we associate it immediately with the military, with veterans. But that's not the case. We all have experienced trauma, and when we live in that trauma and it's unhealed, that's where the PTSD comes from. The PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And so before we dive in, as you guys know, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor. My talks, my episodes, my social media posts, they're all just for love, community, encouragement, motivation, just helping with healing and transformation. We all go through something, so it's no better place to heal than in a community where you have like-minded people that are striving for that healing and positivity. And so that's what we're all about here at Team Love with AuntieRee. So there is a statistic that says 70% of people have experienced a trauma. And so that's, again, is where the PTSD comes from. And so we can live with it and not even know. PTSD can come from, so when we think of trauma, again, we want to relate it to war and military and our veterans. But that's not the case. It can be trauma from a number of things. It can be trauma from a car accident. It can be from a loss, from divorce, from medical diagnosis. There's a number of things that can cause trauma in our lives. We can have childhood trauma, and that can go through from childhood through adulthood. And so if we're not focusing and getting healing, that's where the PTSD comes from. And we end up putting on these masks, right? We put on a mask and we just go through life through our normal routines like nothing's wrong. And so I know for myself, I used to look at myself before my healing and would be like, ugh, like I'm sick and tired of myself, or why am I so dramatic, or why am I going through this? Sometimes people would say, oh, you're so emotional. And so that's how it shows up. We don't really know that we have PTSD, that what we went through, we think we get through it, we think we've gotten healing on our own, but we truly haven't. And so in 2021, when I got sick and tired of myself and decided to go to therapy, it didn't take long before I got a diagnosis. It was like in the very beginning of my journey, and they said I had PTSD. So you might ask, what's that? So the C stands for complex. So yeah, I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And what that is, it's basically that you went through more than one traumatic experience. You had multiple that you didn't get healing for, and it just piled up one on top of the other on top of the other. And so that's where the complex comes from. But the good news about that is we can be healed from the PTSD. So there's a number of ways that you can get your healing. I would say number one, or one of the factors for me, was working hand in hand with my faith and spirituality along with therapy. And then, of course, you have community. You can journal. You can just self-awareness. So I think once I started therapy, I started getting the tools that I needed. And then from there, it's just process. So you have to trust the process. You have to go through. A lot of times we have so much taboo, which we're starting to talk about it more and more, bit by bit, about therapy. But I tell people that you're not going to find the right therapist the first time. A lot of times it's like a doctor or I don't know, a lawyer, just anything where you need a service, you need a professional. And that first time you may not click, you may not like them. Therapy's the same way. It took me three therapists till I really found the one that I was like, okay, like our personalities click, okay, they're understanding me. And so I was with three therapists. But and my healing, I mean, it's not over. It's a lifestyle. But I went through intense therapy for 3 years, from 2021 to 2024. And 2024, my therapist was like, okay, because it's not meant to be a lifetime, although we can have a therapist for the rest of our lives, but we're not to continually stay in it. You get in, you get the tools, you start using them, you start growing, and then of course you have to get weaned off and do it on your own with your tools. But you can always feel free to use it when you need to. So I finished in 2024, and April 2024, and then I decided, okay, I think I got this. So I started feeling better. I had my tools. And so this April, my birthday's in April. So this April, I was like, let me go and just check in. I had a couple little things going on, but I had them under control. And I basically just wanted to touch bases with my therapist. So I made an appointment, and I told her, I was like, everything's good. I don't have anything really big that I'm going through, but I just thought maybe I'd chat with you for a few, because sometimes just us talking, things can come up. And so we chatted for a little bit, and she was just like, oh, it's so amazing. She said that you wanted to do a check-in with yourself. And I think I told this story before, but for those of you who are new, and she had told me, she was like, well, yeah, she was like, me and she said a doctor had just had the discussion saying where therapy, mental health, and should become a mental health annual physical, like we do with our eyes, our bodies. We have an annual physical we have to do. We have to do annual visual exams. We wear glasses. We have to do dental exams. And so she was like, I'm proud of you for doing that. And I was like, yeah, I said, I think I'm going to do it every year. Just do a check-in and just see how things are going and just chat. And so, yeah, so I did that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. Also, I do discuss in my book about my mental health journey and about my diagnosis with the PTSD. So my book here, my latest one is this one right here, Voices in My Head, Not in My Heart. And it's available on my website. And I'll give you guys all my contact information at the end of this video. But yeah, PTSD, it's hidden in different ways. And some ways that you can, I wouldn't say like maybe symptoms, where it hides. So, and how it shows up. So it might show up in the form of like panic attacks, loud noises might get to you, being in like certain places or certain people, sometimes like big social events may get to some people. So you just got to know how it shows up for you. And then another thing I wanted to discuss too is, because we have labels, all these labels all the time for everything. And let's get a drink. Prisoners. A lot of times when people are in prison and they come home, we have this label institutionalized, and that is also PTSD. You know, they're locked up, they're in isolation, they go through a lot of abuse in there, whether it's from prison staff or other inmates. And so they have, just like with the military, when they come home and they've been through war and they may have seen death and traumatic things, you know, that's a war zone. Prisoners, it's a war, a form of war to them as well. So even though they might come home and they might be released from those actual prison bars, sometimes they come out and they're in a mental prison. And so with them, again, it just shows up in different ways. For them, it might show up as paranoia. They're trying to adjust back into society. And so again, PTSD, it shows up in everyday lives. It's not just a military veteran thing. So I just wanted to talk about that, the awareness of it. And with July being National Minority Mental Health Month, I just felt like it's one of the topics that we don't talk about enough, and have discussion and Q&As and panels. And so yeah, tough topics is one of my expertise, and it's one of those things where we have to bring awareness. I speak on this all the time too, where yes, I can bring all these topics to awareness. We can talk about them. But then once we have awareness, we gotta move to action. And that's what my goal is for us to work together, for us to heal together. When I start having these workshops, they're gonna be group workshops. I created a framework, which is Auntie, AUNTIE, and the A stands for acknowledge your feelings, U is uncover your truth, N is nurture your spirit, N is nurture your spirit. I'm sorry. T is trust the process. I is inspire, and E is empower. And so that's the framework that I created for us to work together as a community. I will also be offering one-on-one coaching sessions, other events. We have other events coming up. So you guys can connect with me on my website, which is www.coachwithauntieree.com. You can also connect with me here on YouTube, which is at I am AuntieRee, which is also my Instagram handle as well as my TikTok handle. I am AuntieRee, and Auntie is AUNTIE. Facebook is Cherie AuntieRee Randolph Dunham. So yes, there's a number of ways to get in contact with me and become a part of the community. I also have a self-love quiz that you can do. It's just a self-awareness quiz. It takes less than 2 minutes. Just be truthful if you do it, and just see where you are and where you need to start. And then from there, you can fill out a contact form and get in touch with me, and we can do just like a consultation to see where you are and where we can start. And then we have the community, which is all my social media. And so, yeah, I hope you guys got something from this conversation tonight on the PTSD. And I mean, I just touched the surface. It's so much more to it. It's so much deeper than what we discussed this evening. But again, it's just bringing light to certain topics that we sometimes shy away from. So if there's anything that you heard tonight, I hope it blessed you. Please comment, let me know. Also share it with someone if there's someone else that you know that may need to hear this. And then also I always ask that you like the video, subscribe to my page, hit the notification bell, and then last, share it with someone. And we can grow and build this community. And I always say we're going to grow and glow together. So that's it until the next time. And you guys be safe. And I love you. Peace.